Does the end result justify a poor experience? So I was recently a bit concerned with a few features on my Pixel 6 Pro, namely an occasional white screen appearing when using the camera, and very poor touch sensitivity on the edges of the screen. I mentioned this touch sensitivity issue in my full review, but it did get me wondering if either of these issues are a minor software glitch or a possible hardware fault, with a look online yielding results that could go either way. Thought maybe I should check with Google, as they would be aware of potential hardware issues, right? So I sent through a few screenshots and inquired if the issue is something I should be worried about. The first response was basic camera troubleshooting, lifted directly from the online support article. Basically, restart and clear the cache, with no mention of my other issue. Well, sure. Being in support myself, I get that you need to troubleshoot, but asking for a restart on an intermittent issue isn't exactly helpful. And I guess no issue register? So that was my response, but also reminding them that there was a second issue raised. My next response came back with basic troubleshooting steps, but this time for general touch issues that reference overall touch sensitivity and recommend a restart and a cache clear, but also made no mention of my camera problems now. So at this point, I started to understand some people's frustration with Google support, as it began to feel like my queries weren't even being read. When teams start sending out basic troubleshooting to close out tickets, it's usually a solid indicator that they're overworked and can't afford to look at issues for too long, or are stuffed by robots. So I pretty much started again from scratch and stated my issues, simply putting the question out there as plainly as possible. Could any of these issues be hardware related? The response back was to start the RMA process, which involves sending the device in to be assessed and being without for a couple of weeks. I did query if there were any other options, as it's obviously a pain to be without, especially as I use my device for work. So then I was offered an advanced exchange. Basically, I buy another Pixel 6 Pro through their system, and it gets refunded when they get mine back. Yep, sure. Actually happy, as this might be the first time they read the email, and helped me work out a middle ground. Now, I never did get the answer if these issues are hardware or software, and I might never know. Once the RMA process happened, it was all surprisingly painless. A courier came and picked up my old device, and I didn't have to go without. I still do somewhat worry about the phrasing in their material that states, if it turns out the problem with your Pixel 6 Pro isn't covered under warranty, you may be charged the full cost of the replacement item, since I never got my response. But it's now been a good few weeks, and I haven't had a random charge on my card, so that's nice. Overall, the support process. This might be limited to the Aussie support wing, but clearly understaffed and don't have time to actually address issues. The process getting there was painful, but they obviously get enough leeway to offer replacements, or it's just easier than arguing. Either way, we ended with a win. The means, though, a mess. Thanks for watching to the end as I work to improve things. Chuck us a like if I did alright, and sub to see things get better. Cheers.